Call the El Reno Airport regular meeting to order on April 19, 2019 at 5:30. We're going to start roll call with Councilman Ballhorn.
Here.
Trustee Grunster, Trustee White.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder, Chairman Robinson.
Here. We'll move to consent agenda. The following items are to be considered routine by the El Reno Airport Authority and will be enacted with one motion. Should the discussion be desired on any item, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Number one is approval of the minutes of the March 12, 2019 regular meeting at the airport. And number two, approval of budget amendments for the fiscal year 2018-19 ending June 30, 2019. I got a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Ballhorn and second by the mayor. Roll call start with Foster.
Abstain. Oh, here. Sorry, we're just starting the meeting. I don't know where we're at.
No.
Yeah.
Minutes. But you just
Minutes
said-
and budget amendments. Vice Chairman Ballhorn,
Yes.
Trustee White,
Yes.
Trustee Ryder. Yes. Chairman Robinson.
Yes. Discussion item, discussions, consideration, possible action to award project number J38 El Reno Airport roof painter. My understanding is we went out for bid and some bids come in.
We did,
and
Monday.
we're extremely pleased with the ones we got.
I mean, I'm tickled to death. Buddy, are you happy?
Yes.
Mr. Frazier, are you happy? We don't care if Matt Sanders is happy, but, no, we're excited. We budgeted $160,000 for the project, and it came in at $133,500. So we're real pleased. And it, basically, the same specs that we used on the other hangars out there, that's going to do that. So we're going to probably, get a meeting set up, I think, Mr. Frazier, Matt, I think this week with Buddy, the lady that has hangar 4, is that right? So she already did. I think Pafford's come in there. So anyway, I make a motion that we approve Coons Roofing for $132,500, and I'm pretty pleased with that.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion by the mayor and second by Cronister. Roll call start with Councilwoman Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee White,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Ballhorn.
Yep.
Trustee Grunster,
Yes.
Chairman Robinson.
Yes. We'll move on to adjournment, starting with Ryder.
Motion for
I'll
adjournment.
make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
We're adjourned.
Call the El Reno Recreational Authority meeting Tuesday, April 9th at 5:37. Roll call start with Ms. Ryder.
Here. Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee White,
Yes.
Trustee Cronister.
Here.
Chairman Ballhorn.
Yes. Consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine by the El Reno Recreational Authority and will be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on any item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Number one, approval of minutes of the March 12, 2019 regular meeting of the El Reno Recreational Authority. Number two, approval of budget amendments for the fiscal year 2018-2019 ending June 30th, 2019. Number three, approval of claims requiring trustee authorization for the period beginning March 1st, 2019 and ending March 31st, 2019.
Motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion by Cronister, second by Mr. White. Roll call will start with Ms. Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee White,
Yes.
Trustee Cronister.
Yes.
Chairman Ballhorn.
Yes. Discussion items. Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding proposal received by project number J45, an additional 25 golf carts for Crimson Creek Golf Course. And that's just what we already went out to bid on, right?
Yeah, I think,
On the Yamahas.
yeah, Mr. Chairman, you were, that was one of those things that we we've been working on for for about a year now. We received the other golf carts. I think Mr. Sanchez, Frazier, you all have possession of those now. Is that right?
Correct, we received those Monday.
Okay, and you got those Monday. And then these are the finish out the fleet that we'd have right now. So this is the other 25. So that basically gives us a full fleet of new golf carts out there that we've been trying to kind of get for several years. That really will bring us up to, you know, where now it's carry us over for the next 5 or 6 or 8 years like we did the last bunch. So we're pretty excited about it. They came in under budget. I think the budget is $67,000. Is that right? Sure. Yeah, I think it did come in at $53,125. It's the same model, same make, same brand that we currently have. It's the Yamaha. So I make a motion that we award the bid to Yamaha for $53,125.
Second.
I have a motion by Mayor White and second by.
And I do want to add, Chairman Ballhorn, I really appreciate, when we worked together on this, but you really championed this deal, and kudos to you for doing this.
The
Second.
vote will start with Ms. Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee White?
Yeah.
Trustee Cronister?
Yes.
Chairman Ballhorn?
Yes. Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding resolution number 19-034, a resolution establishing fee charged by the city of El Reno and El Reno Recreational Authority for El Reno services. Basically a rate for the golf rates.
I guess Mr. President Pat's handling that, is that right?
Don't give them a time.
I don't know, I mean,
Yeah.
you all met, the Recreational Authority met last night, is that right?
We met last night to review the rates and also the golf cart proposals. The rates, weekend rates are going to stay the same. That's because on weekends, we're competing against all of our other metropolitan golf courses, and we want to make sure we're competitive there. So that rate stays the same. There's going to be some incremental adjustments across the board for some of the weekday rates. The biggest change that we introduced was the tournament rates. Tournaments, we love tournaments, but they require a lot of resources, and also in some cases require us to shut down our course for the entire day just for that tournament. So that's where members and other citizens weren't able to play. So we've adjusted those rates to be more in line with what we see in the labor that goes into those tournaments.
But some of the concern, I think we all had some concerns about like our tournaments that we have that are nonprofit entities.
Local nonprofits stay the same.
Like the football stuff and all that stuff's
Sacred Heart
on
tournament.
Sacred Heart, that's all gonna stay the same.
Local nonprofits stay the same. Local for-profit don't, and also nonprofit from out of town, those are raised up.
But everything local, we wanna make sure those local people that they still, the nonprofits, they can be able to take advantage of that.
Yes.
That's my own concern. And basically, we haven't raised rates out there in several years, is that right?
It's been exactly 2 years.
Okay. But you're not, percentage-wise, it's not very much, is it?
Percentage-wise, it depends. I mean, sometimes adding $2 to a $10 weekday drink fee isn't,
Yeah, I saw that, I saw the 5% on some of them, some was like $1, but it was $1 on 10%, well, that's 10%, I mean, yeah,
Right.
so.
And they're still below what the other rates are.
Absolutely, I saw that.
That other one, so that's good.
Well, the only other question was, is that, a lot of the kids and stuff go out there and practice with those balls, those buckets of balls. I noticed you did not raise those.
Like, in your packet, it'll show a raise, but after last night.
I talked to
we decided-
AJ.
Yeah, after last night, we decided to leave the range tokens the same price at $3 a token.
I think you should, because that's some of those kids go out there and hit those balls, and that's what they do. I make a motion we approve.
I second.
I have a motion by Mayor White, second by Ms. Ryder. Vote will start with Mr. Cronister.
Yes.
Trustee White?
Yeah.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Ryder?
Yes.
Chairman Ballhorn?
Yes. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mayor White, second by Cronister. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. It's now 5:40, I now call El Reno Hospital Authority, regular meeting of Tuesday, April the 9th, to order. We'll call, roll call with Vice Trustee Cronister.
Here.
Trustee Ballhorn?
Yep.
Trustee Robinson? Yep. Trustee Ryder? Yes. Chairman White?
Yes. We'll move on to the consent agenda. The following items be considered routine by the El Reno Hospital Authority be enacted with one motion. Should a discussion be desired on that item, that item be removed from consent agenda and considered separately. Number one, approval of minutes of the March 12, 2019 regular meeting of the El Reno City Council Hospital Authority. Number two, approval of budget amendments for the fiscal year of 2018 to 19, ending June 30th, 2019. Number three, approval of resolution establishing Pafford EMS as a sole provider for emergency and non-emergency ambulance transportation in the city of El Reno.
Motion approved.
I got a motion.
Second.
Got a second. Roll call vote, start Ryder.
Yes. Trustee Robinson? Yes. Trustee Ballhorn?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Cronister?
Yes.
Chairman White?
Yes. Motion for adjournment.
So moved.
I got a motion by Cronister.
Second.
Second by Robinson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. It's now 5:51. I now call the El Reno Municipal Authority regular meeting of Tuesday, April the 9th, 2019 to order. I'll call roll, starting with Trustee Ryder.
Here.
Trustee Robinson?
Yep.
Trustee Ballhorn?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Cronister?
Here.
Chairman White?
Yes. Going to new business, deletions, features of the agenda at time. Are there any? Not we'll go on the consent agenda. The following items be considered routine by the El Reno Municipal Authority and enacted with one motion. With that one motion, should discussion be desired on that item be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Number one, approval of minutes of the March 12, 2019 regular meeting of the El Reno Municipal Authority. Number two, approval of minutes of the March 27, 2019 special meeting of the El Reno Municipal Authority. Number three, approval of budget amendments for the fiscal year 2018-19 ending June 30th, 2019. Also, number four, approval of the claims requiring trustee authorizations for the period beginning March the 1st, 2019 and ending March 31st, 2019. Have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I got a motion for Cronister, second by Ballhorn. Roll call vote start with Cronister.
Yes.
Trustee
Yep.
Ballhorn? Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee Ryder?
Yes.
Chairman White?
Yes. All right, we'll move on to discussion items. Number five, discussion consideration possible action to approve final pay application number four in the amount of $28,781.44 to accept the project and activate, Lindsay, is that correct? Activate the maintenance bond for project number G10 CBGB, project number 16754, 2006 CBGB, water and drainage, and authorize mayor, chairman to sign all documents associated thereto. Before we do this, Mr. Frazier, we were meeting with the engineer today and just discussing, Mr. Sandage and you and I. We're excited about the next phase of that CBGB grant, hopefully going north towards Sunset to complete that whole project. And then once we get that major project that way, we got one block in between those houses from Watts to the pond to do. And the reason why we're doing that last, Jeff, is because of the jumps. Basically, we want to make sure we can slow that water down after we get the engineering down from up front on Sunset. So that'll be a real nice deal. If y'all haven't seen that project over there, it turned out great. And that'll be a lot of, we're going to work on, we've been working on these water projects, and they're slowly but surely coming around, and I'm really excited about getting some of these deals done. So I know you were encouraged about it today, and it's going to be a nice little project when it gets done. Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
I got a motion by Ballhorn, second by Cronister. Roll call start with Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee Ballhorn?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Cronister?
Yes.
Chairman White?
Yes. All right, we'll move on to probably the most exciting agenda item of the night, the library. We'll do 6, 7, and 8, and they all kind of go together, so I want to make sure we have enough time to discuss them all and kind of go there, and I'll introduce everybody. But Matt, you might kind of help me a little bit, because this has kind of been our project and your project. But what we're asking tonight, I'll kind of go over the figures, there's been a lot of misconceptions, and we're here to get them all out. I just can't believe some of the rumors and things that are going around and people really believe them, but that's okay, that's how it works, we understand that. Social media gets away. It's kind of funny how people, even that are in political life, that they even see things that you got to them and they believe the things that are out there. It's just crazy. I want to address all these things tonight, and we want to make sure that everybody understands. This project and you all gentlemen, I think everybody here besides Ms. Ryder has been involved in this with the projects we did in 2016 and 17 with the renovation of the outside that. So, we've been through this process before for several years. And I think it started, Rebecca, almost 5 years ago. I think if I remember correctly, five years ago, we kind of started the process.
At least 5.
The bottom line is that, we want to make sure misconceptions. We do not want to bulldoze down a library that was on a post. That's not going to happen. We don't do that. We've spent $600,000 on the outside and on the renovation of a handicapped elevator to help accomplish that. I think the library board has worked very diligently. I think there's 4 members here today of the board that basically have worked hard. We've traveled different places to look at different locations. We've got a lot of assistance from the resources that are available to us, and that is the Oklahoma, I'm not going to say state, the Department of Library Boards. I would say state, Oklahoma Department of Libraries, and they've been real instrumental in kind of helping us get everything going. Paula, I think she's here, and she's one of the ones that we met with for the Oklahoma Department of Libraries, told us to call, and she's done several projects here in Oklahoma and around this region to help us kind of finish out what we're trying to accomplish at the library. And the library itself, Rebecca, we've gone through a process of basically trying to figure out what we need to do. And I'm going to go through it real quick, and then we'll kind of answer questions, and we'll go to presentation. But the bottom line is, because it's a historical building, we had a lot of challenges up front. And JT, I think you were involved with this before some of these guys got on, but we hired TAP architecture firm, one of the top architectural firms in Oklahoma City, to basically do what they call a historical structure report. And basically this was done on August the 6th of 2015. They started that process several months before that. But the main thing is that in order to do this, we had to have this document in order to go forward to see what we needed to do to the library. And in the library, what we had to do is we wanted to make sure structurally it's sound, it was waterproof on the outside. We had several leaks, we had some issues over the years, we still have some issues that we're trying to address to get it going. And it's an older building, and when you have old buildings, there's a lot of work to go to it. So we had to do that process. We did that process. We paid the $15,000 to do that, to make sure we kept the historical integrity of the building. And we've done that. In that process, the library board itself was very instrumental in part of that deal. I think, is Legali here? Got Chief? You were kind of the project manager at the time, is that correct?
Yes.
And we kind of worked through what the process that they wanted to do to get the outside, kept them informed, kept them involved in it. And we also did the elevator. And we had to go back twice, if y'all remember correctly. And because we had a hard time with that elevator. And we finally got the elevator in. And I think it goes back to the point to where we finished up the last project with the ramp in order to get that. So we've, misconception that we want to tear it down, we want to do things absolutely not right. And the other thing is, it's not a map-like plan. What we did was we went to the Department of Libraries. We asked for assistance for them, and they gave us some options. And the main option, the only option at that time, Matt, was Paula to visit with her in order to get the project going for the interior side of it. Now, the video I did, and I want to make sure I'm clear because someone said that's not true, and it is true. Everything I did on that video, I stand by 100%. Everything on that video is right. We walked you through the library. A lot of those things, everybody's, I think it's a misconception until you see that, how unorganized some of the rooms are. I mean, I was kind of shocked at some of that a little bit, to be honest with you. So a lot of Paula's design will incorporate that and bring that into basically help preserving the genealogy room. That's what we really want to do. We want to preserve history and make sure that we have that to provide. And we also want to provide basically a place that is not a museum, but a place for study and basically the functionality of the library. And in doing that, we have some, I call it modern, and apparently people don't like that word. It's not really modern. It's newer furniture that goes along with the structural that we're going to keep. Now let's go back, make sure that we're clear. Never one time, Paula, did we ever discuss about taking that marble out. We didn't even cross anybody's mind.
No.
The beautiful tin top in there, never one time have we ever thought about getting away from that. We never ever one time talked about the columns. I think we've all wanted to keep them. Never have ever talked about doing that at all. All that was all incorporated in the design. If you notice some of the furniture that we pointed out in the video is not old. Some of it's not functional, some of it's not old. And what we did was we went, and in this process we did two things. We got information from the library, and Rebecca, I think you submitted some things. Jeannie, you submitted some things you got off online, and I think, Jacqueline, you had some ideas that you sent to us. I'm not sure if we had some other people, but I know for a fact that you ladies have absolutely submitted some designs, and the opportunity was there. Also, in the same opportunity, the staff was there to absolutely give their options of what they wanted, how they wanted to function out, and do everything else. All that, and including the categorization, Teresa, I said it right, all the categories that we got from you, was all in your design, is that correct? All of our catalog of all of our books, everything else was in this design, is that right? And all the information from the staff and all the information from the library board and the information that we had came back into this design.
It does.
Okay, so it's not like we did this secretly or we did anything else. And we'll kind of get into the functionality of the Friends of the Library, which is a separate entity that does not have anything to do with the Carnegie Library or the Library Board of the City of El Reno. It's a separate entity. So that's how we did it. We didn't do it. That's how we do all our boards. When we went out on the golf carts, the board met. I mean, everything that we did, the park board, and all of the equipment we got, it went to them. It comes back to us. JT, the Planning Commission, they meet. So as far as not involving the citizens, that's just not true. The citizens absolutely were involved. And everybody on that board except one lady voted against it, and one had to leave. I think you had to leave, Jacqueline, but you were all for the design of it. You're excited about it. You think it was great. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to take questions now, and I'll kind of take a little bit of fire. I'm very passionate about that. I want to see this thing through because I've got a lot of calls. I'm going to tell you, the call I got the most important one was when the lady called me and said she could not get her granddaughter upstairs because she was in a wheelchair and she didn't think that was right. And I totally agree. And I worked hard on that elevator. I went to Texas. And, I mean, no, all this is on our dime. I mean, it's nothing that we did. I mean, we care passionately about our library and a lot of the things that we do. And we've been hearing from a lot of people, and I think they're glad about it. They absolutely want to keep the identity of the library, and we do too, and we are in our design. If you notice what they've done currently, they've done the same thing years ago. It's like a hodgepodge. You have 1960 lights. They did this renovation. We haven't done a major renovation to this library since the late 80s. I think 88 is what we found. So that's kind of where we're at. So at that point in time, I don't want to be redundant. We don't need everybody up here saying the same thing, but I wouldn't mind, if you have some representation that want to come up and ask some questions, you know what, we're fine for answering it. You can come on up and we can answer those and get the facts out and go from there before we discuss the items. Anybody? All right, if nobody wants to discuss it, there we go. That'll change things. Come on up. What I need you to do is I need you to state your name and your address.
I will gladly do that. My name is Karen Pappas. I live here in El Reno. I have the honor of being a long-term member of the Friends of the Library and also a member of the Library Board. I want to refresh everybody's memory that the plan that was approved by the board on February 21st removed all furniture, existing furniture from the library, all of it, including the historic parts. It removed all art from the library. It removed all the children's interactive toys, which were provided by the local vocational schools back in the 40s. And it was iterated over and over that no changes were allowed. Specifically, I commented about we don't want carpet because carpet is unhealthy. It holds mold, dust, bacteria, germs, pollen, everything that we don't want. We want a hard surface floor that will be more healthy for our patrons and for our staff. All of our staff are on allergy medications because of the way this carpet has been left to ruin for years. We were also told at the meeting that no photos were to be released until the City Council had approved this. I don't understand that rationale at all. It's a public library. It was given to the City of El Reno by the Carnegie Foundation with the stipulation that it was free to every race, every sex, every creed. No man, woman, or child was to be denied access to free information, education, and embetterment. The Friends of the Library, that was also re-emphasized after a Friends of the Library meeting on March the 14th, where the mayor again emphasized there would be no changes to this plan. Again, that's the plan that the board approved, was with all furniture removed, all art, and all of the children's houses. The Friends of the Library have worked for 6 years fundraising many events that many of you have supported very generously. The chocolate festivals, the fan fest, the wine and palette, and the book sales that we have 3 times a year. And we really appreciate the public's participation in that. All of this fundraising was for the effort of restoring the library to its historic integrity. As you're well aware, historic integrity is required to remain on the National Register of Historic Places. It can be removed. If you'll wait just a second, I'll read you. Historic integrity simply refers to a property's authenticity. 7 elements of integrity include location, design, setting, material, workmanship, feeling, and association. Not all 7 elements are required for eligibility, but sufficient integrity must remain so that the property still conveys significance. That has always been the intent of the Friends of the Library, is to restore it back. The fluorescent lights don't work. They don't go with what's there. Before any of this can happen, the plumbing has got to be fixed. Every week, the toilets back up. Right now, the men's bathroom is closed at the library because the toilet backed up and it hasn't been cleaned. The plumber has come and fixed the plumbing problem temporarily, but the floors still haven't been cleaned. We had a meeting with the mayor back in December 7th of 2017, and I've given you all a copy. This is the minutes, and then this is the revised plan. The plan looked very much like this when we presented it to the mayor. If you will flip to page 2 of the plan, you'll notice it says, now all the items in blue are items that the Friends of the Library have offered to pay with fundraising events. We would pay for those. It's to restore the marble floor in the lobby. We were going to do that. Restore the marble staircase. Replace light fixtures with historically appropriate fixtures. Restore the historic furniture. Purchase historically appropriate and functional chairs and tables for the adult area. Purchase historically appropriate technology for the children's area. Create a teen area with historically appropriate furnishings. You will notice everything in here is methodical and prioritized by the things that had to happen first. And the Friends of the Library were welcoming the opportunity to help restore the library back to its former glory. I do not agree with nor understand idea that the public has no input. Again, the public was prohibited from seeing the plans. It was only because of people in our group that released those plans to the public. Otherwise, the public would never have seen them until you came to this meeting to vote on it. The plans were never given to anyone on the board prior to that board meeting, so none of the board members had the opportunity to visit with their neighbors, with their friends, with other people and patrons who were concerned, would be concerned or involved. There was no discussion with anybody. We showed up at a meeting, here's the plan, and if you don't approve it, the city will not fund anything else. I don't believe that's the appropriate way to do business, especially not in El Reno. Again, I would only submit that the only direction that the board has ever given the mayor or anyone else on which kind of renovation we wanted was this piece of paper that you see is written direction that we wanted a historic renovation, the historic look. We don't want antiques in there. We can't maintain those. We want a historic look. Everybody can look online. You can look at our website and you can see lots of libraries who are historic and who have renovated their buildings to have that look and feel of a historic building. Again, there was much discussion about we don't want it to be a museum, we want it functional. The Friends of the Library have paid for all of the public technology in that building. That was not paid for by the city, nor was it paid for by the board. that was paid for by the Friends of the Library. We've done everything that we can to keep this library functional. The furniture looks really, really bad. That's because there was no money in the budget to repair the furniture. And so they just had to piecemeal, hodgepodge to continue working and to maintain a functional library for the people of El Reno. So I believe that this whole plan needs to be reviewed. It needs to have public input. The library board are not elected officials, and so they have no accountability to anybody. This needs to be put out for discussion to all of the library patrons and to the community as a whole. So it is my hope that you would put a hold on this, and let's go to the public that uses the library. This isn't the police department. This isn't a hospital. This is a public library, and the people do have a say-so. I thank you for your time.
Anybody else? Okay, I want to come address a couple things, just make sure we're clear on some of that, and I'll let you come on up, Karen. I want to make sure we're clear, because I want to answer some of those as we go. The pictures, and Carrie, I think you're the one taking the pictures. The way this works is, and the way it worked, and I think you ladies correct me because you all were there, I said that I was going to go, my next step was to meet with the Friends of the Library, and I wanted to present the plan to them. Is that correct? I didn't say that, and then I wanted to get to you all before I did that. That's how it works. It's not that I was hiding from the public or anything else. I absolutely said that we wanted to get this to the Friends, and we wanted to schedule that the next meeting. So that's just not, we didn't try to hide anything or anything else. That's just not true. And hey, we're going to run this meeting, everybody's going to be nice. So what we try to do is we try to basically make sure we do the same processes that we do with everything else, like we do every other board. So we didn't try to do that. And the other thing is, I think you did say a key word, Ms. Pappas. The Friends of the Library's functionality is to raise money. That's your choice. It's just like any other deal, where it be the Ashford Foundation or anything else. We come to your needs, and we tell you what our needs, and you can either deny us or grant us. But it's not your building. It's not a facility. Our board is this library board, and this building, these people right here. We don't have, I don't know if Marie's let people decorate, or it's her choice to have the public decorate the courthouse, but we do have that process where the public's absolutely involved in that. So we'll go on to you for the next question, so go ahead. No, I'm gonna come back to you. We're gonna rebut one time at a thing, so go ahead.
I want to rebut what you said.
Well, she's up here.
No, you let her.
No. I'm running the meeting, now listen. We're gonna do this right. I'm gonna let you talk. I'm gonna let you get it all out, because we're not getting the truth out. We're gonna get it out tonight. So I'm gonna let her talk, and then you're gonna be next. Can you please state your name and your address and what town you live in?
Karen Snowden, 716 Nathan Way, Yukon, Oklahoma. I still am a Canadian County resident, and I am a Friends of the Library. I just want to discuss some of the, I think that it's a little premature to go ahead and do carpet, lights, and furniture when we still have some deferred maintenance issues that have to be handled before any of that can be done. The plumbing is critical. The plumbing is a nightmare up there. It has been. There's holes in the ceiling. And those go back to 2006 when Miller Architects came out and did a report. And that's all deferred maintenance. And that's why everything has got to where it is, and there's so much animosity, because there's so much deferred maintenance. When the city employees have to go to a restaurant to go to the bathroom, that's pretty sad. So I think that before anything gets done, that the deferred maintenance issues have to be taken care of, that we are way ahead of ourselves doing anything with anything on the interior until all of the deferred maintenance is done first. The other part of that is the total budget cost, $435,000. We need to go out for competitive bid on this. It's not an option to go out for competitive bid, as you just did with your golf carts and the other stuff. You save money when in the hangar. You save money when you went out for competitive bids. I think it's important to go out for competitive bids. It saves money, and bypassing that process kind of makes it look like something sketchy's going on, and there's no reason for that when you can go out and do bids. You can bid a lot of people for carpet, a lot of people for lights and a lot of people for furniture. And to bypass all of that with an emergency order is not appropriate. And well, that's the gist of mine.
Are you done?
Okay.
So let me answer a couple of your questions. You do realize that we do go out to bids, and we do have bids, and we're awarding the low bids on several items tonight. Is that correct?
We have items that don't require competitive bid, which
That-
require quotes. We have those with us.
Yeah, we have all those with us. We have had those. We go over that process. Now, one thing that we use, and almost all cities do, and schools do, and counties do too, is the bid board. Is that right? And bid board is used currently. Bid board basically is for special items that you do. And they go out for the special furniture that we need. I contacted Credit McVeigh, that's all they use for all their furniture is a bid board. And we've used that, Kent, Magali, we use that on almost all of our fire stuff, is that correct?
Last 3 vehicles we bought have been through.
And and basically what it is a state contract. So it is completely bid in that area, and the bid board is absolutely part of that process. So we do that. We have done that. We would never do anything shady or anything else. Nobody up here would ever allow that to happen. We absolutely go that. We have bids on the carpet that we've got from local and people like in your community, Yukon. So we're going out for the best bid that we have. So we have done that. And as far as deferred maintenance, I want to kind of ask this because it's kind of been a buzzword you guys have been showing. You know, we're not doing deferred maintenance. We had to get a plan together, and that's what we did because you can't just go and do it. Mr. Hicks, you're here for a different matter, but now that you're here, you're kind of pleasantly in the corner. We have a quote from you and another company that you are going to do the plumbing. We have to do some major work to that plumbing. Is that correct?
Correct.
And we've gone over that for the last month and a half. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So it's not that we don't want to fix or anything else. We have to get a plan together for that. And we have a deal that we're going to absolutely probably award you at some point in time, bid to go ahead and fix that plumbing like you have a lot of other facilities. Is that correct?
That's right.
And in saying that, don't forget, let's go over what the budget is. You keep on saying deferred maintenance. The bottom line is that in 2004, the budget for the whole total city was $8,263,000. You know, we didn't barely have money to pay a lot of the bills. Do you realize when I became mayor, we, at some point in time, Mr. Brown, we took batteries out of other vehicles that we were selling at auction that were wrecked to replace them with the vehicles that we had over budget. Is that right?
That's correct.
So as we have been progressive, we try to fix all of our facilities up, whether it be the new senior citizen center, the skate park, and everything else. And the citizens have voted on bond issue after bond issue in this community. And guess what? Not one meeting was it ever brought up to do anything at the library. Not one citizen ever brought anything up. No library board meeting, no library board person, no friends of the library ever had an idea of ever putting that on the bond issue. We did the bond issue, JT, I think you and I were on the council, and I'm the one that pushed it through in order to do this, and we had $1 million, and we're at basically $1 million for that library right now.
But-
And it wasn't deferred maintenance. The bottom line is that now we're at $25 million. Our annual budget at that library is $325,960. We've increased that over the years, every step from 240 to 260 to 325. So it's not like this body has ever not done anything to try to take care of buildings. We have several buildings we have to take care of. Just like this room right here has been remodeled. You know, we try to do a little bit we can with what money we have. So it has been budgeted for. It hadn't been deferred maintenance. It hadn't done that. I got one more discussion item that I want to talk about the Friends of the Library. Are you all familiar with, make sure I got that correct over here. Cheat sheet. It's here somewhere. Are you familiar with, what's the name of that?
Friends of the Libraries of Oklahoma.
Friends of the Library of Oklahoma. Are you familiar with that, Carrie? You all have never attended a meeting.
Yes, we have. We're members of it.
They never have ever had you all come. You know, they help facilitate these things. And they tell you what to do, and basically they go through the process of what you need to do in order to be a part of the process of this deal. But they also stress to that, and I've talked to them, that you all are fundraising mechanism only. The library board and body runs their facilities. And they want to make sure that you all understand that you all are there just to raise money, not input on that, because it can't be like that. It's not like that. And they have training that they want to provide for you all in order to get you all antiquated to help do that. So, anyway,
Yeah, as far
I'll
as,
address some of your questions, Karen.
as far as the library not being here, or the Friends, or the board, on the maintenance issue, as a city building, it is somebody's responsibility, I don't know whose, to maybe inspect them once every 5 years. It's not too much to ask that a building be inspected on a regular basis, to know that it needs maintenance.
I think we've been working for 5 years. I've been mayor for 10. This process didn't happen.
Oh, this is a 20-year-plus problem.
Absolutely. And I think what we're trying to say is we have absolutely been committed, the most majority of this board up here has been committed to absolutely doing the upgrades that you're talking about. There's $15,000 in there for plumbing. There is other issues as far as the heat and air issue. We have all that in there. So we understand it, but once again, we're just like at your house. You know, you don't remodel your house every day, and we have to get a plan together, and we have absolutely done that. And what has been presented is that we haven't done that. This library board has worked their tail off in order to do that.
But you're just saying, they didn't bring to you that the plaster was cracking and falling off the walls, and that there was water pouring in the ceiling.
I'm just saying, when it comes to a bond issue, no one brought it up. So
It
that's
shouldn't be a bond issue to fix a hole in the roof.
Well, I think to go back to the point where you're saying is, it was a little more complicated than that, because the roof, we did what we fixed everything we could when it was addressed to us. When we found out about 5 years ago, we've absolutely taken action. So that's the best answer I can give you.
Okay. And I think that it is not appropriate to shut the library over the summer because of the at-risk youth and people in El Reno. They have nowhere to go that's air-conditioned.
And
It's the library.
I think we're going to try to work through that process. Keep moving. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right, a couple more. If you want to go rebuttal, go on up.
I want to make the point, again, I'm Karen Pappas, I'm a citizen of El Reno and a patron of the library. I want to make the point that if you will look at this attachment I gave you, this is from that meeting that was held December the 7th in 2017. The title of that states, Revised El Reno Carnegie Library Rehabilitation, prioritized and coordinated by the Friends of the Library and the Library Board of El Reno Carnegie Library. So we do have a say-so. We do have a say-so. I'd also like to offer up that the Oklahoma Department of Libraries states that they do not have a relationship with anyone from this city, and they also state that they are precluded from doing that. All they did was recommend a person's name as a contractor.
And we never say anything different.
Okay, I have a question. How much have you guys, so you've been around for 6 years? So how much have you guys put together over the 6 years?
I got it right here. Your budget right now, you got the number?
I do have a number.
Okay, go ahead.
We have raised in total $128,000. We have done, as I said, we have paid for the extensive upgrades of the archives. We have purchased a scanner. We have paid for a computer in there. We have paid for servers. We've paid for upgrades to security. We've paid for firewall installation. We've paid for all of the public computers that are there.
Okay.
Each meeting that we have a treasurer's report, and we can account for every penny we've made and every penny we've spent.
Sure, yeah, of course. So, I mean, I'm just looking at, with as much that needed to be done, I mean, in 6 years, it's $21,300 a year roughly that you've raised. I mean, and you talk about deferred maintenance. I mean, if these issues aren't addressed now, when do you expect those issues to get done? I mean, I understand that you guys have put forth a great effort and a positive foot, but...
And the community has supported that.
Yeah, in the same vein, this is probably more than you guys can handle through your efforts. I mean, we got to kind of be honest here. At some point, these issues have to be addressed.
The agreement between the Carnegie Foundation and the cities where they put libraries requires the city to agree to maintain the facility, provide land downtown in a central area where everybody has access to it by walking, ideally. They have to maintain the property, that's the building, and they have to maintain a staff, pay and maintain a staff. Those are things that the city of El Reno agreed to in 1903, and it has carried us through 115 years.
So the Friends, am I hearing that the Friends are the ones who take care of all the other stuff interiorly that's not structural?
We have agreed to do that. We have offered to do that. You'll see it there in your paper. The things that are highlighted in blue, you see there at the top. It says the Friends of the Library have committed to take care of those things.
And then that, when you say committed to take care of those things, that's.
By
committed to
fundraising. By fundraising.
Taking care of those
Yeah.
things, not the
Right.
responsibility of making the decisions
That's
of what's
right.
happening and what's going on. That's between the library board and the city. I mean, we absolutely
This
appreciate
plan
all
was
that.
coordinated with the library board. This is a joint plan.
I understand, but this is still, you can't go any further than fundraising for it, and you've done a great job at doing so, but even with all of these things here, it'd take 10 years to get all this stuff done. I mean, that's just the honest
Well,
truth.
We never wanted a 20-week plan. I'm sorry, I'm not finished yet.
I didn't know you were.
We're not committed to a 20-week plan.
I understand, okay.
We're committed to doing it as the fundraising allows. As the fundraising allows us to do it, we want to do it, and we want to do it consistent with what we have now.
So if this was a joint plan.
Yes, ma'am.
December, what I'm looking at is in purchasing historically appropriate,
Correct.
and that was, okay.
That is not to say antique, but that is to say things that look and complement the old look of the building.
So if we did the maintenance and took care of the property, how long would it take you to paint it and put in furniture and upgrade everything?
That depends on the monies, the funds that we have available to do that.
And you raise.
And that depends on the community's support. But again, we're not going to put new flooring down. We're not going to do anything until the holes in the plaster are fixed, until the bathrooms are fixed and they're not overflowing out into the library floor anymore.
That's what I said, maintenance.
And then you mentioned that the people on the library board aren't elected by the citizens. Are you guys elected by the citizens?
No, we are not.
Okay.
No, it's a volunteer, strictly volunteer organization.
Okay, yeah, so is this board. Okay.
Yeah. All right, well, let me add, JT, you kind of brought up some good points, kind of want to talk about. First of all, you know, we were there, Rebecca, and you did present a list, and I think what we absolutely, that's how we contacted the board, the state library board at this point in time. So what we did was we contacted them to get that list done of what we wanted to, and we also toured different facilities. So no one agreed to keep an old part. I think everybody's mind was way open to get new carpet, to get new paint, to do something to the library, and that's what we did, and that's what they voted on. And you know, it's one of those things that they are there to raise money. But let's make this clear. And I talked to McVeigh about this, and I talked to some other people. When you go to Ashburn, Timmy, you've done a lot, and I have too. They don't tell us when you go apply for a grant what they want to do for you. You tell them what the plan is, and they approve you or don't approve you. Mr. McVeigh, I went over the rules of like the El Reno School Foundation. School Foundation, they don't come up with the ideas. The teachers come up with the ideas. They're the ones that come up with what they want to do. Now, the School Foundation, they vote yes or no and decide what they want to fund and what they don't want to fund. But they ask what the needs are. The mothership is the library itself, and it's governed by us, like we do every other facility. And our board is the library board, which is appointed by us, which is elected officials. And that's what we do. So that's how that structure is. And that's what we've been trying to do the whole time. We've been going through the same processes that we do with everything else. I can't remember any, we were kind of laughing about this, everybody's so upset about this. No one ever really tried to come in here and design this or the other, and we've done a pretty good job with the fire station renovation and the senior citizen center, and that's just kind of what we do with our facilities. There are facilities. Okay, yes ma'am, can you please state your name and your address?
Marie Hurst, 1221 East Watts, El Reno.
Okay.
Okay, Matt, you brought up my name about decorating my office. Okay, yes, I have plans to hopefully upgrade and improve the court clerk's office. That is done with the permission of the commissioners by a vote to expend those funds, and they have to be budgeted.
Similar to this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am not a member of the Friends of the Library. I'm not a member of the library board, but I am a member of Historic Fort Reno, and I do have a concern for historical aspects. I do want to commend all of you for the work and the progress that you have made in the city of El Reno. You've done a great job. You're trying to make huge improvements, but there and again, preservation of your historical area, your downtown district, is very important to all of us. As a citizen of El Reno since 1979, one of my first experiences was at the library. Going to the library, taking my children there, the ambiance, the warmth, the welcoming aspect of it, because when you go into a building that has so much persona, and the wood in there is warm, the people were welcoming and warm, the columns with the painted sconces and that sort of thing was very inviting, very appealing to me. It made me feel like I was walking back in time. And I've always thought that about the library. I love the library. I love all of our historical buildings. It's important to me that they're preserved. I work out at Historic Fort Reno, and there is so much out there that ties both communities together, Fort Reno, El Reno, and there's nothing that we're allowed to do without the State Historical Society's approval. And Matt has stated that these renovations and everything that you all done, these improvements were approved by the State Historical Society. I didn't say that they weren't. I want you to know that. I'm not trying to be argumentative. The fact of the matter is if you go in to take a building that has that kind of history, that kind of structure, and you take and put in a lot of metal, a lot of furniture that has no warmth, no welcoming, comforting type of ability, that's plastic, metal, that sort of thing, you're losing character. You're losing the ambiance of the library, the history of it. This whole town was established in the early 1900s. We have tons of buildings here that reflect that, as Mr. Reinhardt has been posting. And we appreciate that because we need a reminder of what our historic downtown is and what it does for us. Matt, you've went to great extremes to make sure that the signage and everything for downtown, the city council, you've taken care of that. It's great. I love it. And I want to keep that. I want to keep that history. But if you change up the interior of the library in such a fashion that it negates that historical aspect of the time period that the structure was built and designed for, and yes, we have to upgrade it. Yes, we have to make improvements. It gets abused every day by the public. She's old, she's tired, she's worn, but she's a mother to all of us. She takes care of us. When you walk in there, you can find a book that'll tell you anything. It'll tell you how to raise your children, just like she comforts you. She comforts your children. It's someplace that's safe, just like the police department and the fire department. They're someplace safe. They're someplace that we can call part of our home. Now, I understand that your library board is chosen by the city council.
By the elected officials.
Yes, yes, sir. I'm an elected official also.
For now.
Pardon? I was chosen by the public to do a job for the public. I'm not able to make law. That's not part of my job. You all do have the ability to change the ordinance in the city of El Reno. You can change things. You can make improvements when you find something that has been in arrears, because laws change over the years. I'm just asking for your consideration to think about what the public wants. Some of the comments that have been made is your opinion doesn't matter. Only the opinion of the library board. But the library board was chosen from people who want to be on that board, number one, because they have a passion for the library and they have a passion for what it represents. I'd like to believe that the council people have that same passion when they choose these people. I'm not sure that the ratio of the size of the board justifies the entire city of El Reno as we have grown by leaps and bounds. But I just want to let you know that El Reno is home to me. I came here a long time ago. I have a passion for this town. I have a passion for this county. And that's why I do the job that I do. And that's why I love El Reno and the fort. Now,
Marie, I'm not trying to, but
I want to make one more statement, okay, Matt?
I want everybody to have the opportunity, but I also don't.
There was an email sent out that said that competitive bidding would be bypassed on this. And I just wanted to make a statement that in your own, in 93.7 or 93-6, paragraph D, you have to declare it an emergency to do that. And the city manager has to declare that within a 72-hour period to bypass competitive bidding. Now, you stated that you would be doing that, but yet in an email, it was stated differently.
An email from who? An email from staff?
Records request.
I don't know who that would, I don't know what that was about, but we've done this all the time, and it's no, I don't know, there might be a misunderstanding, I don't know, Lindsay,
Was it as a reference to the buy board
It was
and
reference to the
waiving
buy
the
board.
competitive bidding process
With
because of
competitive bidding.
buy.
And it is absolutely on the list, that we are going to, let me make sure we're clear, because I want to make sure that we're,
But it says for you to declare an emergency, it has to be posted by the city manager for 72 hours.
There's no emergency declared on this.
Okay, but who is the buy board? Are we not going out for competitive bid?
The buy board is competitive bid. Basically, it's a state contract. The county uses all the time.
No, we don't.
They do.
We use the state contract, the 6-month bid, but buy board is not a part of that. Buy board is from Texas.
Buy board is what counties use, and cities use, and schools use. Well, here's the bottom line is, are you done, Marie? Okay, I want to make sure you have time. I do want to answer a couple of your questions. First of all, it's not just elected official. We have a staff that we took all of their questions from them, all of their deal. It wasn't just the library board. Is that correct, ladies? We went to the resources that are available to us, which is the Oklahoma Department of Libraries. Is that right? We talked to other people. We went to people that was referred to us. We all went on trips. Everybody had input. So I guess my question to you is, you say you don't like the plan, and you saw it just on the pictures that they showed you. What do you not like that we're doing?
Number one, I don't like the fact that you're saying that you all are the ones that the rest of the city of El Reno's opinion doesn't count.
No one said that.
Yes, you did.
No.
You've been quoted saying it, sir.
No, we didn't. We haven't been quoted saying that. But who quoted me saying that? No, Carrie, you're shaking your head. That's right, because it's not true.
It's true, Matt.
No, it's not. I would never say that. And you guys are just, now listen, fellas and ladies, that's just not right. And we went to the proper deal. You're not hearing what you want to hear, so yet you're saying that I said that. No, that's not true. And here's the bottom line is, I might have, and I think I said tonight, this library board and the staff has input. The Friends of the Library absolutely has no input on this arena.
That
of what we're
is-
doing. And if you're misconceived that way, I say that, I stand by that deal. Because we have to do protocols. We can't let 25,000 people in El Reno pick the different colors out. We have to go through the certain processes. But as far as the saying, I said that, you got 3 people that have been basically slanders against me, so I said, and that's not true. And I guarantee you, these people up here, the people and the citizens know, I would never, the citizens absolutely have to be part of this process to do that. And here's what gets me is we're skipping over the facts, just like we did at the time, we were focused one week on coffee bar, then when we explained it wasn't, we had a coffee bar based on having them come in, well, that's okay then. Well, then we're focused on 1 week of what color carpet is. Well, then we show them the carpet. Well, then we're going to go back to the wood. Well, we hired a professional designer. I didn't pick out any of those colors. It had nothing to do with any swatch of paint, color, or anything. Matt, did you either? We basically are trying to do that to go there. So that's the best I can do to answer some of your questions. But I just think you're misinformed. We are absolutely want the public to do it. And the way it happens is we go to staff, we go to the public, which we have our library board, and then we make the decision just like we do everything else. We've done this 100 times, just like you all have on the county, and you've never asked the public to be a part of it. And we don't do that. So that's just kind of how it is. Just like the fair board does decisions, they do that. You have input, just like we did. We've had several meetings, Rebecca, Jeannie, and I think you said that Athebia, you invited a lot of people. No one comes to those meetings. We come to them. We try to hash it out. They're all public meetings. Everybody's welcome to come. Sometimes people come from the Friends of the Library. Sometimes they don't. Ms. Pappas comes. But other than that, that's just that you're acting like we're bypassing a step, and that's just not right. Okay, I got one more person behind you, and we're going to have to get this designed for. Thank you. Okay, Ken, please state your name and your address and your town you live in.
Okay, Carrie Weaver, 2935 North Old Highway 81, El Reno. I just wanted to say that you've kind of put it out there that we're the ones that we want to pick out the carpet, we want to pick out the colors and stuff. That is not what we wanted at all. We wanted an interior designer to be hired to historically have the reproduction and do it historically accurate to the 1905 look. That's what we've always proposed. That's what we proposed in that. And you gave us the ability to tell you what we wanted. And then at the meeting that you came to, that we had of our last Friends of the Library, you told us it was none of our business. And I can prove that you said that multiple times, that it was none of our business.
And I don't disagree with that. It's not your business to run the facilities. We have a library board in place, and then we have the city council. Let me make sure that you're clear with this. And let's go back to the fundraising deal, JT. And we're going to have to get into this a little bit. They got $90,000 in the bank right now. A lot of this is donated by other organizations. I think they can give that money to the library on this. They don't have to give it to the library board. They can give it to us. And a lot of the money has been used on some of our library people working on our time that we give the money to. And some of the books that we sell are generated are theirs that they give. So all the money that they're saying that they raised, a lot of that also was done with city staff and citizens, that aren't friends of the Friends Library. And a lot of them were people of the library board. I mean, I always gave money to the chocolate deal. We've all done that. And I think you'd recognize that. Someone said that right off the bat, Ms. Pappas. So it goes back to the point to where, your goal was to do that. And as far as having a deal, we never had a deal with you about anything. I went to you and asked you, I asked you when we went to bids that we were in a bind on that elevator when the bids came back. And I said, can you help? And you said, we really don't want to help. And that's why I said, you really don't want to help with the handicap, but you want to help with the colors of the paint.
That's not what we said.
Now, I can prove that. So the bottom line
We
is,
didn't say we really don't want to help with the handicap.
you said you don't want to help with that kind of stuff. You said we don't want to help with that kind of stuff.
Because we don't have the money to
But the
do
bottom
an
line
elevator.
is, that kind of stuff, those people use this library board. And the bottom line is, like she said in her eloquent deal, is we have to do this for all the people in El Reno. Handicap, young,
We're the people
old,
of El Reno,
everything
and you
else.
keep telling
And
us
the
it's
bottom
none
line
of our
is that we are-
business.
It's not only the Friends of the Library, because it has to go through the proper channels. If you want to get a library board, apply for it. And if you get elected, be a part of the
Okay,
process.
can I ask a question? Why weren't other interior designers asked to put in a design? Why weren't multiple ones asked? Why weren't different styles asked for? Why weren't the people shown the different things and give their opinions on
I'd
them?
love to answer that. We asked them, and the only name that was given to us was this company.
But you can't go find a historical,
We had a hard
TAP
time-
Architecture does that.
No, they don't. They don't do the interior side of it. We asked about that, and they basically have, they have the same process I'm talking about the bond board, but they don't have the interior designer that's done the functionality. And let's go back to the functionality of it. You guys keep on going back to the old historic you want. We have to have this functional for.
A historic look can be functional.
Well, we have to have this functional. The materials and stuff that we're using is all where, for the facility itself. All the wires have wire trays underneath them, is that correct? I mean, it all flows together. She is a designer, that's what we did. Here's the bottom line is, this is what we've worked on for 5 or 6 years, trying to finish this thing up. I've secured the funding, we have it in place, we want to make sure we go forward, and the main thing is if we don't want to do this, then we don't have to vote for it. We're not changing any walls, we're changing one area, I think, that's a 4-foot deal where our window was, but it's back where the old deals. So other than that, and a little pass-through area in the break room, other than that, nothing's changing. And if you guys later on in 15 years are going to be updated, then we can do that. All we're buying is furniture like you would in your house.
But you can do that with a historical look.
Okay.
They make reproductions. You can do all the
And I guess
hiding of the wires and all that
I
stuff.
guess what I'm trying to tell you is, I'm going to be honest like I have with you every time. This is what was presented to us, and this is what the library board asked us. And let me state one of the comments of one of the members. They said the kids are used to this at school. They have that look. They have the deal when they plug in. Why can we not provide that here?
And we can't provide them with a historical
But
education?
once again, that's what we decided to do. That's what they decided to do. And you keep on saying, I'm doing what the board asked me to do. And it's not a Matt White plan. I worked hard on trying to get all this together. It doesn't matter to me as far as what the style is. It has to be functional for the patrons. So,
Well, I think Karen Pappas is on the board, and I think she could dispute that, because I don't think she was,
And she voted against it.
but I don't think she was asked for any of her ideas.
You know,
So how many,
we were.
what is the percentage of adults and kids and youths that you go into the library? Do we know?
We have that information, I think. We have somewhat of that. I'll have to get it to you. It'd be more on our side to check what the library cards would say and what the.
But
No. I'm controlling this meeting. Because she's in line and I'm controlling this meeting. So, but I don't know the answer from our side of it. I don't know what the answer is, and we control that. So I don't know what the answer is. But I'll get you the answer. Now, go ahead.
My name is Rebecca Garcia. I live at 921 Mulberry Lane, El Reno. I'm chairman of the library board, and I've been on the library board for 18 years in different capacities. I've worked on this board with some wonderful people in El Reno. Art Stevener, Jane Ratcliffe, Judith Thompson, Carol Connor. I could name many, many more. And on the 18 years I've been on this board, we have gone over this and over this and over this. I've came on the board when Diane Costin was leaving. So I've been through 3 librarians. Every one of those librarians had a different idea about what they wanted. One librarian vacillated. Keep the library there, move it out to the armory, back and forth. We've gone through all kinds of ideas like this on 20 years, and the library has deteriorated and nothing is done. Our thinking in voting for this is we're looking at the young children in El Reno. We're looking at the teenagers. We're looking at the kind of people that come in that library every day and what their needs are. We want that library to flow for them. That's some of the design ideas that we wanted. Some of the people that have made comments on Facebook and all over the place, don't go to the library. They don't have a library card. They don't know what's in there. It's just a lot of talking. We've traveled to different cities to look at their libraries, what they're doing for their young people, their adults. We've gone to look in schools to see what appeals to the younger generation. I certainly respect the history and the parts that we want to keep. I respect the Friends of the Library. We have different opinions here about what is best for these children. And the library board has worked really hard. We're the ones that are in those meetings every time. And the public is always invited to those meetings, and they're not there. But you get into something like this, and you get a lot of ideas coming up. And you all know that better than anybody. But I'm just saying that our voting for this plan, we would like to take care of the severe problems that are in that library right now and not wait and go another 15 or 20 years, because I can't last another 18 years on the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I think we've kind of had it all out, and we've kind of let everybody talk a couple of times. You know, we have a couple of proposals ahead of you, and basically, you know, the proposal is, the first one is discussion, consideration, possible action to purchase furniture for the Elwood Library Library for the interior, and that's on the buy board, is that correct? Okay. And we want to,
I've got something to say.
okay, go ahead. Well, let me read the item first,
Okay.
and then I'll let you, we'll make a motion and then have a discussion. If I can find it. Okay. The first one is discussion and consideration possible action to purchase furniture for the El Reno Carnegie Library interior project number J46. So I make a motion to waive the competitive bid process and purchase furniture on the buy board contract like we do all of our other facilities from the Lone Star Furnishings for $259,304.02. And this will all be, you'll work with the board as far as the final designs, and they'll all be able to sign off on that before you do that. Is that correct? I make that motion.
I deny, no.
I got a motion, I have a second, now we'll have discussion.
Okay.
Okay, but just a second, I'm still running this thing, Barbara Kent.
Oh,
Go ahead, go
Okay,
ahead.
thank you. I think that because this is such a heated, passionate thing on both sides, that when I look at that, there was a joint plan between the library board and the Friends of the Library.
That was not voted on.
That was not voted on, it was not a joint plan, it was just presented, but we went forward with the other one, it was not voted on.
But it's on the El Reno Library Board special meeting.
Sure.
So, and that is what is shown here. And it tells me that there's been a breakdown of communication in some way between the two entities. Obviously, they had input, and their input was important because you guys have had a relationship for many years, obviously. I think that however it came about, that to go forward without, number one, a competitive bid and the buy board that is one view, and maybe, and I don't know what the board has done, individually boards or called libraries who have the same kind of look. I think that going forward and waiving the competitive bidding process is, as a whole, not going to be instrumental and helpful to either side, the board or the Friends of the Library. So there's too much passion to say, okay, go ahead and do it. They have
Call the question.
helped.
Is that what you're saying? I mean, what?
Look, we don't do this for the Friends or the board. We're doing it for the people that use this.
Exactly.
Okay, how many adults do you have in there? Slim to none.
Oh, no.
Kids?
I'm there.
Well,
I
out
know.
of all the people that I talked to the last 2 weeks, I didn't run into one adult that said, yes, I go there. I ran into a... I'm just telling you my point. Every kid that I talk to, 60 to 80% of them go to the library. And they love going there. But we have to do something to fix this thing because it will fall down. When people, visitors going across 66, do they stop and go in the library or do they look outside? It looks old outside. If we have to fix the inside to make it good for the youths, so be it.
I think,
Okay, okay, all right. Okay, we got a motion and an action. Go ahead, Tracy, finish that.
well, as far as the structural, the city being responsible for that, right, there's things that need to be done. But as far as the interior and how it will, and because the library draws people in, do we want to draw them in and have them see it in a restored way as to how it was done? Or do we want them to go in and have a different design? It's a question. So I think working together and coming up with a board decision, working with things that have, partners that have worked with you along the way would be very beneficial for the relationship of both parties, the board and the library, Friends of the Library, for the future. So, and have competitive bids.
Okay.
That's all. Thank you.
Statement, is that what you want to do? Okay.
I do have one statement, real
Okay,
quick,
go ahead.
if I may.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the historicity of the library, I mean, this is furniture, and it doesn't. I've been to 2-week seminars at the State Historic Preservation Office. It's not going to fall off the National Registry because we buy different tables and chairs, and for that matter, just consider it. I mean, if the Friends of the Library come up with the capital to find historically accurate furniture, which I imagine would cost several times more than what this stuff costs, then we'll come in and replace it. Let's just call it, and move the furniture elsewhere. We can use it somewhere else in the city. I mean, it's fine, but for now, I mean, at $20,000 a year, the money's never going to get raised. I mean, and we need to update the library now, and the carpets needs to be fixed, right? So let's put in some new carpet for now and help everyone's allergies, and then move on down the road whenever you want to sandwood floors, do it. I mean, I don't see the problem.
Okay, I got a motion, I got a second. Is there any other motions on the second? Anything else? Okay, no other motion. I got a motion, a second, roll call vote start. I got a motion, a second. We had discussion up here, we had discussion up there. Now we have to do that.
Why didn't you allow me to say anything?
We-
You knew
we-
I wanted to say something.
We
Why
allowed-
did you not allow me to say?
We allowed everybody to talk.
I
I allowed your wife to talk several times. I didn't know you wanted to talk. You weren't up in line like we did everybody else.
You know,
Look,
you
hey,
told me-
hey, we got a motion and we got a second. Once again, you guys don't like the rules, then you can't, we can't do that. We gotta be fair to everybody. I got a motion, a second, roll call, let's start with Brian.
Yes.
Trustee Ballhorn.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder.
No.
Chairman White.
Yes, motion carries. We'll move on to number 7, discussion, consideration, possible action, purchase light fixtures for the El Reno Carnegie Library Interior Project, number J46. I make a motion that we accept the lighting proposal for cultural surroundings for $35,019.60.
Second.
I got a motion and a second by Cronster. Roll call vote start with Ryder.
No.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Ballhorn.
Yep.
Vice Chairman Cronster.
Yes.
Chairman White.
Yes, motion carries. We'll go on to 8, discussion, consideration, possible action to purchase carpet for the El Reno Carnegie Library Interior Project number J46. I make a motion we approve and we give the bid to this one to Davis Carpet in the amount of $35,961. What'd you say?
I have a question. What's that
I have a
second
question,
page on Davis Carpet?
Matt?
One page is material, one page is installation.
So
Yeah.
total,
Total 35,961.
Yeah, total is $35,661.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see.
I think seven some
I
is
got it.
40,
Yeah.
seven some is 42,000 or something.
Gotcha.
So I have a question. Why is it looking at carpet instead of some other kind of flooring that wouldn't?
That's just the design we came up with, and that's what they suggested when they come up with the square tiles, and it helps with sound barriers. It's just kind of design. I got a motion and a second by Robinson. Roll call start with Cronster.
Yes.
Trustee Ballhorn.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder. No. Chairman White.
Yes, motion carries. All right, we'll move on to number 9, discussion, consideration, possible action to approve First Amendment to Water Tower Lease Agreement between the City of El Reno Municipal Authority, and T-Mobile Central LLC, the City and Voice Stream PCS LLC. Mr. Frank, you've been working on this. Basically, this is a generator that goes underneath the tower for the radio tower. Is that correct? The radio
Correct.
Cell phone.
T-Mobile is trying to back up the signal that they currently have to make that emergency capable in case electricity goes out.
Thank you.
They approached us and offered to put a generator on site. We negotiated the terms and recommended it.
I got motion approved, second by Ryder, roll call start with Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee Ballhorn? Trustee Ballhorn?
Yep.
Vice Chairman Cronster?
Yes.
Chairman White?
Yes. Stay around, there's one more. All right, going to 10, discussion consideration possible action to award fiber optic cable, wiring, electrical, to move forward, project number F03, wastewater treatment plant improvement known as the monitoring station, CRS-RF, project number ORF 13003, CW, and you have the mayor and chairman to sign all about associated there too. This basically is a relay line that we're going to go back to the septic tank system that we have to help relay the information back. Is that correct?
That'll allow constant 24-hour monitoring of the sewers.
The facility?
So if there's an emergency, then we will be alerted immediately.
Oh, great. Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate that.
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion by Bob, second by Ryder. Roll call start with Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee Ballhorn?
Yep.
Vice Chairman Cronster?
Yes.
Chairman White?
Yes. Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Got a motion? Got a second by Ballhorn. He beat you to it. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, we're adjourned. Let's go on to the next one. It's now 6:52. I now call the Reno City Council regular meeting Tuesday, April the 9th, 2019 to order. Call meeting in order. Roll call start with Councilwoman Ryder.
Here?
Councilman Robinson?
Yeah.
Councilman Ballhorn? Vice Mayor Cronster?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. We'll move on to the consent agenda. New business deletion extension to the agenda time. Consent agenda, the following items will be considered routine by the Reno City Council being acted in one motion. Should discussion be desired on that item, that item be removed from consent agenda, considered separately. City manager recommends that we approve one motion, approval of the minutes of March 12, 2019 regular meeting of Reno City Council. Number 2, approval of minutes of March 27, 2019 special meeting of the Reno City Council meeting. And number 3, approval of the resolution 19033, resolution establishing Padford EMS as the sole provider of emergency, non-emergency ambulance transportation to the city of El Reno. Number 4, acknowledgement to accept donation by the Devon Energy Corporation and the El Reno Police Fire Department. Boy, almost gave your money away, the golly. In the amount of $1,500. No, Brown, sit down. $5 Public Works. Safety equipment grant from OMAG, Jeff, in the amount of $2,000 from Public Works. Strobe warning lights. Only one didn't get it, was Brown. Approval of budget amendments for fiscal year 2018-19, ending June 30, 2019. And number 7, approval of claims requiring council authorization for the period beginning March 1st, 2019, ending March 31st, 2019.
Motion approved.
I got a motion. I got a second. Roll call vote. Start with Robert Cronister.
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn? Yep. Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes.
Would
I got it.
you like to do that?
I sure do. I forgot all about it. Let's get it. Roger, do we have anybody from Minister Alliance here tonight? We got preoccupied. We had a longer meeting. What we go? Roger, you want to lead us a word of prayer? Please bow your heads. Roger?
I'm in the spirit.
Okay.
Dear God, we pause as these men and women are about the business of this community. We thank you for the passion of the elected officials, the board members, and of the citizens for this community in which they live. We pray that the direction that the city goes will benefit all those who live here and work here. We thank you for the volunteer hours put in by the members of elected officials and by boards. We pray for this community. We pray for our state. We pray for our country. We ask for continued guidance on the city of El Reno and ask that you bless its citizens today and those days into the future. These things we pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. Join me in the flag salute, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, thank you all. Apologize about that. Now, audience participation. Anyone have any item of business that does present to City Council that does not appear on the agenda? Please come to the podium and state at this time, state your name. You will be requested to limit your presentation to 3 minutes. Any item being presented must pertain to city government business. Anyone? Anyone? Wow, kind of cleared up, didn't it? All right, we'll move on to F, discussion items. Conduct a public hearing consideration request by Loretta Pavey. Ms. Pavey. to reclassify the zoning from R, agricultural A1 to single-family residential R1, a tract of approximately 9 acres located east of South Country Club Road within the northeast quarter, northeast section 17, Township 12, North Range 7, West Indian Meridian, Canadian County, Oklahoma. I now consider this public hearing open. Dustin? Yes. Oh, sorry, northwest quarter. Thank you. Range 7. All right. Someone's been reading a little bit of titles already. You read more than anybody in this room, probably. All right. Basically, Dustin, this went before Planning Commission. There was a little hiccup at first. I think it all got worked out. Larry, you all, Miss Beatty, we met with Cheney. It's all addressed. There's a buffer zone. It works good for everybody. I like it. I like it a lot. I think that's what needed to happen. It's great. So you all are happy. The homeowners are happy. Is that correct, Dustin?
That's correct. I've got one technical clarification. Does the discussion item say the amended amount of recommended for approval by Planning Commission is 4.16 acres? That is what the ordinance says. That's what the legal description is, and unfortunately, that's a typographical error on my part. It's 4.16 acres.
Instead of the 9.
Instead of the 9.
So I can correct that now. Is that correct, Roger?
Yes.
Because that's less than, so I think that should be fine.
Okay. Then I make that motion. All right, okay. Any other quick comments?
But just to clarify, the description is accurate.
The legal description is correct.
4.1.
4.16 acres.
6 acres. Okay. 4.16. Okay.
That's,
All right.
that's been our policy in the past, as long as the
Yeah, as long as it's-
description
yeah.
is correct. And you're reducing it, not enlarging it, that should be sufficient.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? I now consider this public hearing closed. Move on to B, discussion, consideration, possible action, ordinance number 9190, an ordinance reclassifying the zoning district or rural agriculture A1, single family R1, tract approximately 4.16 acres. East of the Country Club Road within the northwest quarter, northwest 4, section 17, township 12, north range 7, west of the Indian Meridian, Canadian County, Oklahoma. I make a motion we approve.
Second.
We got a motion second. Roll call vote start with Cronister.
Yes.
Yep.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor Wayne?
Yes, motion carried. All right, move on to 9. Got a very request by Cherry Small to reclassify zoning district from residential estates RE to automotive, commercial, recreation, CAR, a tract approximately 1 acre, located north of the vacated West Clark Street within the southwest quarter, southwest 4th, section 6, township 12, north range 7, west Indian Meridian, Canadian County, Oklahoma. Basically, this went to Planning Commission. I'm sorry, I now consider the public hearing open. This went to Planning Commission. Terry, we closed this road several years ago at your request. You don't have to get, I mean, we closed this road at your request several years ago, right? And then basically, do you have an operation there? We're not doing anything with it?
Just trying to detach this to mine, I'm just trying to get it all the same.
Okay, you want to put some storage stuff there later on, or? Good.
Maybe someday.
I got you. Okay, just go ahead and kind of, it flows into what you want to do. It flows into what your current operation is, no problems at all.
Exactly.
And it goes good there. All right? Dustin, this went for Planning Commission, absolutely no problems.
Right.
It goes exactly with the neighborhood, flows with everything.
Yes, everything to the southwest and east of it was all zoned RE.
That's right, all confirmed.
Or CAR.
Any other questions? Any other comments? Now consider public hearing closed. We'll move on to B, discussion consideration possible action, ordinance number 9191, an ordinance reclassifying the district residential RE, automotive, and commercial recreational CAR to a tract approximately 1 acre located within the vacated West Clark Street within the southwest quarter with southwest 4, section 6, township 12, north range 7, west Indian Meridian, Canadian County, Oklahoma. I have a motion for approval. I make that motion. I got a second by Robinson. Roll call start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn?
Yep.
Vice Mayor Cronster?
Yes.
Mayor Wayne?
Yes. All right, number 10, we're up for a public hearing consideration request by Darren and Susan Hicks to establish a PUD, planning and development, with the basic zoning, restricted commercial CAR, a tract of approximately 0.14 acres located in the southeast corner of West Center Street, South Evans Avenue, the property currently zoned combined residential R2, more particularly described as lots 23, 24, Block 8, the Jensen Addition, the City of Reno, Canadian County, Oklahoma, according to the recorded plat, therefore. I now consider this public hearing open. Dustin, this is what the planning commission, there's a couple of questions, they were all answered. It's right behind Tudor's, right beside there, it's right across the street from Center Street, from Sider's Place, and catty corner from the Culligan Water area.
That's correct.
All right, basically, no problems at planning commission, is that correct?
That's correct.
I think we're gonna use this for basically storage for the plumbing business, and maybe in that zoning code, they might have an area for a hair shop or something like that.
That's correct. Those are both among
Any
the
other,
uses.
any other comments or any questions that were presented or anything else that weren't handled?
Specific note, I've spoken with a couple of people who want to make sure, and I believe that the applicants are with this, that we don't want to encourage outdoor storage in that area.
They don't want that either.
They don't want that either.
And they're gonna have, the whole thing's gonna be bricked.
The veneer requirements are in your design statement. I know that at least a majority of it is brick, but I can't speak to all of it. It's been a few sleeps since I've looked.
All right, any other comments, Justin?
No.
Okay. Any other points, problems, questions?
No neighborhood problems or anything?
No one protested?
No, not at the meeting.
Okay, all right. Next, public hearing closed. Move on to public hearing, consideration of request by PED Susan Hicks to establish planned unit development. Discussion, consideration, possible action. Ordinance number 9192, ordinance establish PUD with base and zoning restricted commercial CR, tract approximately 0.14 acres located southeast corner, west of Center Street and South Evans Avenue. The property is currently zoned combined residential R2, more particularly described as lots 23 and 24 of Block 8 of Jensen's Addition in City of Reno, Canadian County, Oklahoma, according to the plat therefore. I make a motion we approve.
Second.
Got a second by Cronster, roll call start with Cronster.
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn. Councilman Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder. Mayor White.
Yes, motion carries. Going to 11, discussion consideration possible action, ordinance number 9193, an ordinance amending chapter 361, section 25 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of El Reno concerning landscaping requirements and declaring emergency. Dustin, basically, we just kind of upgraded some of these, we modified some of these landscaping deals to kind of fit the bigger areas where they would basically, if you had a big open warehouse or whatever else, then you had another business out front, they're requiring more trees and more landscaping. Any other questions on that? Any other comments on that?
No, not other than we spent. I assembled a group, a substantive group that was kind of a lot of people that are on our staff that have things that have experience in landscaping. We worked diligently. One of the things that we wanted to make sure that we took care of was maintenance, irrigation, those types of things that are not currently required in the code. We wanted to make sure that we took care of it. We looked at several cities as far as how they do how they do work, how their ordinances read, and did a blind test, our code versus other codes, as to how it would apply to certain businesses. This is what those experts suggested, and Planning Commission approved it unanimously. Recommended.
Motion approved.
Second. You got a motion? Got a second? Roll call vote, start with Cronster.
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn. Yep. Councilman Robinson. Yep. Councilwoman Ryder.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes.
Motion to declare emergency.
We got a motion to declare it emergency. Got a second by Ballhorn. Roll call start with Cronster.
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn. Yep. Councilman Robinson. Councilwoman Ryder.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes, we'll move on to discussion, consideration, possible action, on ordinance number 9194, an ordinance amending chapter 334, section 7 Code of Ordinances, City of Reno, concerning water line and fire line metering and metering vaulting and declaring emergency. Basically, this is in our final process of our plan review. Is that right? I mean, but we need to go ahead and put an ordinance to clear that up, because one guy brought it up, and we need to make sure it's in there. So I'll make a motion we approve.
Second.
You got a second? By Cronster, roll call, let's start with Ryder.
Yes. Councilman Robinson.
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn. Vice Mayor Cronster.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes.
Motion for emergency.
You got a motion? Second? Roll call, let's start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn?
Yep.
Vice Mayor Cronster?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. Move on to 13, discussion, consideration, and action to renew the Cox Communication LLC franchise agreement with the City of Reno. Mr. Frazier, you negotiated this, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
With the assistance of our city attorney.
Oh, yeah. Kind of funny how that works out, isn't it? Yeah, make sure you get him in there, all right. So basically, you all got that down to 5 years, is that correct?
Yes.
And then we're also on the same percentage as the federal percentage rate, is that correct?
We're maxed out at what we can receive.
Okay.
And you still get to retain your local TV channels, things that you had before, the
And-
education and local.
Great, good. So the school and the city gets to keep their channel. All right.
It is a non-exclusive franchise.
Right, right. I make a motion we approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
You got a second? Roll call vote, start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn?
Yep.
Vice Mayor Cronster?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. Number 14, discussion consideration possible action to purchase emergency medical dispatch software, Pro QA Communication Dispatch Center. Ken, basically, we had the little flip cards basically to come back. If you got a heart attack, you went to page 4, went through the process. This now computer system puts it on the screen for you. They can paste and copy it to the emergency responders out on the deal. It's wonderful. It's great. It'll help the dispatchers. It's great information to have. Is that correct? I make a motion we approve. Got a second? Roll call vote, start with Cronus.
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn? Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. Number 15, discussion consideration possible award project number J40 Babcock Drive, paving and drainage, and authorize the mayor to sign all associated documents to there. Therefore, too, I can say. Motion. We got a motion approved. Second, roll call vote, start with Ryder.
Really, how much?
Huh? Oh, I got it. I had it all ready for you, then Timmy threw me off. All right, it's, we need to be awarded to First Water Contracting, awarded project of $179,892. Is that correct? Okay.
Second.
We got a motion second, roll call vote, start with Robinson.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ryder.
Yes.
Now Robinson.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson? Councilman Ballhorn?
Yep.
Vice Mayor Cronster?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. All right, let's see here. Number 16, discussion consideration possible action award project number J44, Arena Garage Roof Repair and Replacement. This is for the garage out there. Well needed. Jeff has been leaking for a long time. We're getting rid of those lights. We decided to go ahead and get rid of those, the skylights, to get it all covered up. That's a great deal. I'll make a motion we award it to G-Man Custom Barns LLC for the amount of $26,193.59. Got a motion second, roll call vote, start with Cronister.
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn? Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. We're getting into the other ones, if y'all can help me out with this. 17, discussion consideration possible action. Proposal received for project number J45, additional 25 new golf carts for Crimson Creek Golf Course.
Motion approved for authority.
For authority, second, roll call vote, start with Cronister.
Yes.
Yep.
Councilman Ballhorn? Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes, go on to 18, discussion consideration possible action, approve final pay application number 4 in the amount of $28,781.44, accept the project and activate maintenance bond and project for G10 CBGB project number 16754, 2016 CBGB water drainage, and authorize chairman and mayor to sign all documents associated thereto.
Make a motion, we approve the $28,781.44.
Got a motion?
Second.
For authority, got a motion, second. Roll call, let's start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn?
Yep.
Vice Mayor Cronster?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes, motion number 19, discussion consideration possible action to purchase furniture for the El Reno Carnegie Library interior project number J46.
Motion approved for authority.
For authority? Second, roll call, vote, start with Ryder.
No.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn?
Yep.
Vice Mayor Cronster?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. Number 20, discussion consideration possible action to purchase light fixtures for the El Reno Carnegie Library interior project number J46.
For authority.
Got a motion for authority?
Second.
Got a second? Got a roll call, vote, start with Ryder.
No.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn?
Yep.
Vice Mayor Cronster?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. Move on to 21, discussion consideration possible action purchase cover for the El Reno Carnegie Library interior project number J46.
Second.
I got a motion for authority, and second, roll call, let's start with Cronister.
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn? Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ryder?
No.
Mayor White?
Yes, motion carries. Move on to 22, discussion consideration possible action, approval of first amended water tower lease agreement between the City of El Reno, El Reno Municipal Authority and T-Mobile Central LLC, succeeding voice stream PCS LLC.
Motion to approve for authority.
Per authority? Second, roll call vote, start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn? Vice Mayor Cronster?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. Number 23, discussion consideration possible action toward fiber optic cable wiring electrical to move forward with project number FO3 wastewater treatment plant, approved nodes monitoring station, CRF, project number ORF 13003 CW, and have mayor and chairman sign all documents associated there too.
Make a motion to approve per authority.
Per authority. Second, roll call vote, start with Cronister.
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn?
Yep.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. We'll go on to 24. Discussion consideration possible action regarding resolution number 1934, resolution establishing fees charged by the City of El Reno Recreation Authority for the El Reno services.
Motion to approve for authority.
Per authority?
Second.
Okay. Got a motion second, roll call for Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman
Yep.
Ballhorn? Vice Mayor Cronster?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. All right, 25, discussion consideration possible action to approve special event permit for El Reno Cruisers Small Town Weekend Festival held on Sunset Drive in El Reno, Oklahoma, June 6th through the 9th, 2019. These are the ones, just because there are over 300 attendees, Mr. Fraser can't, and staff can't do that. They have to come back to us so we know what's going on. I'll make a motion we approve. I got a second. Roll call, let's start with Cronister.
Yes.
Yep.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. Number 26, discussion consideration possible action to approve special event permit for spoken water be held in Lake El Reno, July 18th and 21st, 2019.
Motion.
You got a motion approved?
Second.
Second, roll call vote, start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman
Yep.
Ballhorn? Vice Mayor Cronster?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. 27, discussion consideration approval of special permit for El Reno for terminal order police, lodge number 151 for the burnout held during small Town Weekend Festival for the City of El Reno in El Reno, Oklahoma, June 8th, 2019. I make a motion for approval.
Second.
I got a second, roll call start with Cronister.
Yes.
Yep.
Councilman Ballhorn? Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. Okay. All right. Wait a minute. Oh, 28. Nomination appointment of two positions in the El Reno Library Board for a 3-year term set to expire 2022. We want to do that. 2022. I nominate Jeannie Hobson and Jill Phillips.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. And if you want to nominate somebody else, go ahead.
I nominate Rhonda Moss
Okay? Who else? That's it?
and Casey Taylor.
Who?
Casey Taylor.
Okay.
What were the two names again?
Moss was one, Rhonda Moss and
Rhonda Moss,
Casey,
Casey Taylor.
Rhonda Moss, Casey Taylor, Jeannie Hobson, and Jill Phillips. All right, so what we'll do is I'll start and we'll just go down this and you pick two. The highest vote gets the deal. I pick Hobson and Phillips. JT?
This is a roll call vote or?
Guys, yeah, we just, the two, you gotta name two.
Yeah, I pick Hobson first.
Okay. Bob? I sustain. I don't know. Sure. Okay.
I'll do Hobson and Phillips as well.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll do Phillips and Taylor.
Okay. All right. Hobson and Phillips have it. All right. We'll move on to the next one, and that is nomination and appointment of. Oh no, I appoint by acclamation. Is that right, Roger? Did I do that? Did I do that? Or?
No, you've already.
Okay, so that,
Right,
okay,
right,
I couldn't remember. I've done it wrong. Yeah, I couldn't remember how we did it. Nomination appointment of one position in El Reno Cemetery Board, 5-year term, set to expire 2024. I nominate Craig Parker. I'm sorry, Craig. Craig Parker. Well, Craig Parker. No, not that. Craig Parker from Moore would not like that. I saw him this weekend.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Roll call vote start. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate y'all. Start with Brian.
Councilman Ryder?
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn? Yep. Vice Mayor Cronster?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. All right. Nomination, appointment of one position in El Reno Municipal Planning Commission, remainder of 3-year term set to expire June 2019. Appointment to continue 3-year term set to expire 2022. So we got,
This is filling a vacancy?
yeah. And then we have some more coming up.
Yeah.
I nominate Mike Murray.
Second.
We got a motion and a second.
Is
Anybody
that
else?
Is that to go to 22 or is that to go to 2019?
This will end the term now, which is vacant, which ends June 2019, and moving into the 3-year term for the 2022 split.
They're fulfilling an unexpired vacant term.
Unexpired into the next 3-year, because it's only 2 months left in this
Right.
one.
Okay, anybody else?
I nominate Dave Mahan.
Okay. Let's start meeting, Murray. JT?
Murray.
Murray.
It's Murray.
Okay, Murray has it. All right, we'll go on to, where am I at? 30. No, 30. No,
No, you just-
31. Yeah, appointment of 2 positions, Board of Trustees, Oklahoma Municipal Insurance Group for 3-year term, commencing July 1st, 2019. I nominate Mr. Jeremy, I nominate Mr. Jeremy. I nominate Mr. Jeremy Frazier. That's the only one I'm nominating, because that gives him 2 votes. Now I get to do it.
I know that nomination.
Anybody else want to nominate anybody else? All right. I move the appointment by acclamation. There you go. Now I knew I was
Now, all
doing
those in
something. Now, all those in favor say aye. All opposed? Julie, you all right? Okay, all right. Move on to the financial report. Marcia, we good to go?
Sales tax up, use tax up, but cigarette tax is down, so I don't know if that's.
And you smokers need to get the smoking down.
They're in their car.
Yeah. All right, section, okay, mayor, okay, council, JT, you got anything?
No, sir.
Bob, you got anything? Timmy?
Robert, just, do we know anything on when we might start some road work, with the weather getting better?
Yes, we do.
Have we planned anything? We got
Yes,
some
yes, we do.
Dates or?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
All right, we're setting up now currently, is that right, Mr. Frazier, the pre-works, is that right, with,
Correct, we've already awarded everything, and we're just waiting on the specific dates. I think we have a date that we received.
well, we're trying to set them up with them. We've contacted Vance Butters, is that correct? But we're also trying to contact Schwartz, is that right?
Schwartz will have their in-house meeting tomorrow. Try to get an estimate of when they're gonna be here, and then they're supposed to contact us after that, and we'll set up the pre-construction.
Well, pre-work,
That-
yeah. So that's what we need to do, get all that pre-work done before we, do everything. So hopefully, and don't forget, you really can't start the chip and seal stuff until the end of May. You got to get some more, right, Mr. Frazier? So,
We
so,
meet with Vance next Tuesday for pre-construction.
so we're getting ready to go. All right.
I have.
Oh, go ahead, Tracy.
There's it was called to my attention, there's a leak on Shepherd, and it's been there a long time.
Yep.
Is that part of
Is
the?
it leaking out of a manhole? Okay, what it is, everybody's thinking of sewer, it's not sewer, it's a telemetry valve, isn't it? Or it's a valve is what it
It's the
is.
same valve, it's what it helps separate the east and the west systems. And when we had to do the water tower and shut it off, the valve nut snapped on top, and it's stuck just a crack open. But it's about 12 foot deep, major repairs. We've had some meter change outs and things we're trying to catch up on first, and then we're gonna have to spend a couple days. And we wanted to make sure the tower is back online and everything before we did anything and didn't hurt our water supply. So the tower's been all cleaned and done, and all the work's underneath there, so you should see it fixed within the next week.
The bottom line is, Tracy, you gotta have all hands on deck in order to do that, so it has to be a major deal, and which tower did that. All right, any other questions? I don't know, go ahead, Bob.
Can we see about getting a traffic study and accident study for Foreman and Choctaw? Do we have one of them?
I bet you can do that, can't you?
You can get across there at all.
I think Mr. Frazier can handle that through Mr. Brown, absolutely. Okay, any other concerns? We can do that. All right, we'll move on to executive session, 33. Executive session convened executive session pursuant to Title 25 Oklahoma State Statutes, Section 307B2, discussion proposal label agreement, memorandum of understanding, MOU, between the City of Reno and the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge Number 151, for the current financial year, 2018-19, for the next fiscal year, 2019-20, return to open session for formal approval labor agreement. Memorandum of Understanding number 34, consider the convening executive session pursuant to Title 25, Oklahoma State Statute, Section 307, discussion proposed labor agreement between the City of Reno, Fraternal Order, Police Officer Lodge 151 for fiscal year 2019-20, and return to open session. And then also 35, consider convening executive session pursuant to Title 25, Oklahoma State Statute, Section 307B2, discussion proposal labor agreement between the City of Reno and International Association El Reno firefighters local 2367 for financial year 2019 and 2020, and return to open session, approval of labor agreement. I'll make a motion, we go.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Let us
And then 35, consider convening executive session pursuant to 25 Oklahoma State Statute, Section 307B, to discuss proposed labor agreement between City of El Reno, International Association of Firefighters, Local 2367, for fiscal year 2019, 2020, and return to open session. We want to go ahead and make a motion for approval of this contract. Is that correct, Mr. President?
Second.
I got a motion and a second.
Who's my motion again?
I made the motion, Mr. Robinson made the second. Roll call vote, start with Mrs. Ryder.
Yes. Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Robinson? Ballhorn?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cronster?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
You got a motion?
Second.
You got a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. We're adjourned.